Hello everyone, I am Shafali and today we will begin with lesson 1.2 of Introduction to Human Values. But before we go into the furtherance, we are going to talk about what we did in the previous lesson. So here we are going to talk about what we talked about last time. So we talked about why are human values important and what were the basic human values that we needed to have. So we said that they were important for us to lead a well-rounded life, a more holistic life. And the basic values that we needed to have were as basic as trust, as basic as honesty, peace, love, compassion, etc., which we said that will help us into making us better human beings. Then we had also talked about how the human body works with tandem of the mind being more important, how to channelize ourselves, how to develop ourselves into better human beings, how to live a holistic life, a life which is acceptable not only to us but everyone around us, considering even the environment that is around us needs to see the good side or the value side of our characteristic. So now we begin with today's lesson 1.2. We are going to now here study about two topics: universal human aspirations, happiness and prosperity, role of values in fulfilling human purposes. Let's begin. Human aspirations, happiness and prosperity. I'm sure we know what happiness and what prosperity means. That's a wonderful point that we are talking about, connecting the universal aspirations of happiness and prosperity with human values. What it highlights? It highlights that how we pursue these aspirations. Aspirations are desires that we want, how we want to live, what are our end term goal in life, is just as crucial as the aspirations themselves. Human values act as guiding principles that shape our attitude and behavior, influencing how we interact with ourselves, others, and the world around us in our quest for happiness and prosperity. They provide the ethical framework within which we strive for these goals. So now they kind of give us a guiding tool of how to go about it. Everything that we are learning new comes with an instruction manual. So when we talk about living happily, leading a prosperous life, so our aspirations need to be rightly channelized. We need to have a booklet in our hands to understand how to go about, how to begin doing it. So let's see. Consider how different values might influence our understanding and pursuit of happiness and prosperity. Pursuit of happiness and prosperity would mean the race in which we are to acquire happiness and prosperity. Now, this is a race which is very beneficial, but we need to know how to go about it, how to enter into the race, how to qualify the race. So, values like honesty, integrity, and fairness that we've already talked about in module 1.1, we have in detail seen the sub basic qualities of each, how each can help us, how each can be important in adding value to our system, can lead to a sense of inner peace and stronger relationships, contributing to genuine happiness. They also foster trust and cooperation in society, which can lead to more sustainable and equitable forms of prosperity. Now, we did say that everything goes in a tandem. So, here we are talking about holistic living. When we talk about holistic living, we talk about not only ourselves but everything that we are surrounded with. Whether it is work we are surrounded with, whether it is the environment we are surrounded with, whether it is the society we are surrounded with. So, how do we work in good equilibrium with everything around us? Till the time we do not work in good equilibrium around us, How can we be happy? How can we be prosperous? Because prosperity is not individualistic. Happiness is not individualistic. It all has to fall into place when we talk about holistic living. So, values such as empathy, when we are thinking about others, when we put ourselves into the shoes of others and we think about them as if it were happening to us, that compassion, that we have a genuine heart which thinks about others, which considers others' needs, others' requirements before we put ourselves there. And service can be when we freely give, can create a sense of fulfillment that goes beyond material gain, enriching our lives and the lives of others, thus deepening our experience of happiness. So everything here is not about money, everything is not here about talking and acquiring something. Certain things have to be which bring about peace to you. So up until when you are not at peace with yourself, peace with your mind, peace with your body, how can you have a fulfilling life? You cannot. So we need to talk about others, a very important part in our lives, where we talk about empathy, we talk about compassion, we talk about service. They can also drive us to create a more just and caring society where prosperity is shared more broadly, where it carries a very broad spectrum. I mean, it is just not only giving something very small to somebody or something which is tangible to somebody. Compassion and empathy has to be intangible also. So we talk about of it in a larger perspective, in a larger spectrum in life. Conversely, the pursuit of happiness and prosperity without ethical considerations, potentially driven by values like greed or selfishness, can lead to negative consequences. Individual dissatisfaction, social inequality, and environmental degradation, ultimately undermining both happiness and true prosperity in the long run. Now, here we are talking about greed and selfishness, which often sets us, into a different tangent completely, which is very different and completely opposite to happiness and prosperity. So now, when we have a conscience, we have discernment, when we know what we are doing with our lives, when we know what we are doing with our actions, we can only be at peace when our human mind and body both are at peace. We can be only satisfied then when we have an equitable environment, when we talk about enhancement of the environment, and we are not talking about inequality, we are not talking about environmental degeneration, we are talking about enhancement here. So, human values are not just abstract ideas, they are not out of the blues, nothing which is uncommon. They are integral to achieving lasting happiness and a form of prosperity that benefits all. So, here there is no selfishness. We are talking about the world at large, the society at large, the environment at large. They provide the moral compass that directs our choices and actions, ensuring that our pursuit of a good life is ethical, sustainable, and contributes to the well being of the larger community. So, when we talk about a compass, can we navigate without a compass? No, we cannot navigate without a compass. That is a very, very important tool when we want to drive around, when we want to reach a place. So, when we talk about moral compass, the moral compass gives us directions. It gives us choices, helps us to make a better choice. It also guides our actions into what we are doing, how we are doing, how we are going to achieve it. And all this helps us into living a better life, into living a good life, a life which fulfills us, a life which keeps us happy, a life which keeps us satisfied, us and the people around us. So when we say the charity begins with home, the home is us, our body and our mind. So when we are at peace with ourselves, it helps everything else around us fall into its own place with peace, the environment and the society. Now let's see what roles of values in fulfilling human purpose. Values play a foundational role in fulfilling human purpose by acting as guiding principles that shape our choices, our behaviors, and overall direction in life, like how a compass directs us. They provide a framework for understanding what is truly important to us, guidelines which help us to understand, like a paradigm which helps us to understand, influencing how we navigate relationships, how we steer through, make decisions, and respond to challenges, how we decide, the spirit of discernment that we have, whether we know what we are doing is right, whether we know what we are doing is wrong, and decide accordingly then. So let's see what a breakdown of the crucial role of the value system gives to us. Providing direction and meaning. So, having direction and meaning is something very, very important. Values give us a sense of purpose and direction. Like a vehicle has a purpose and direction, reaching a certain goal and reaching the correct goal, helping us align our lives with what we deeply believe in, what our value system is. They act as an internal compass, a directive for us, guiding us toward activities, relationships, and goals that resonate with our core beliefs and aspirations, what we want from our lives, what are the goals that we have. This alignment fosters a sense of meaning and fulfillment. It brings about, it cultivates a sense of meaning and fulfillment. As we feel that our lives are oriented towards something significant, all of us are achieved, all of us want to achieve something good in life. So, what we are looking at, how we steer our path, how we navigate our ship, is all up to us. Influencing decision making. When faced with choices, our values help us weigh different options and determine the path that aligns best with our principles. So, we need to see the pros and cons, we need to see what is good for us, what is going to lead us directly to our goal. It is that. They provide a framework for ethical behavior and moral accountability. We are all accountable, so our moral accountability, whatever we've done is right, whatever we've done is wrong, we are answerable, ensuring that our actions are consistent with our sense of right and wrong. This clarity in decision making reduces confusion and helps us stay true to ourselves. So, when we are less confused, we waste less time and we are more productive and we are channelized in a better way. Shaping behavior and actions, our values are not just abstract, they're not out of the blue, they are not just random. They actively influence our behavior and actions in everyday life. In everything that we do carries a value. For instance, if we value honesty, we are more likely to be truthful in our actions. That is true. If we value compassion, we are more inclined to act kindly towards others, that I will think empathetically about the other person. Living in accordance with our values fosters consistency between our beliefs and actions, leading to a more integrated and authentic life. So, do we not say that actions speak louder than words? So, when our belief system is good, our actions are good, it is then we have our moral compass in place, helps us to lead a better life. Contributes to personal identity. All of us need validation in life. So, values form a significant part of our personal identity, shaping us into authentic selves, into good selves. They reflect what we stand for and differentiate us from others. Every person is different, every personality is different, contributing to our unique character. Understanding our core values, enhancing self awareness, self righteousness, helping us to recognize our priorities and live in a way that feels genuine, authentic way of living, a correct way of living, a truthful way of living. It fosters motivation and resilience, makes us stronger, motivates us also. There are sometimes when we are feeling very low, we need a little push. So, the motivation. When our lives are aligned with our values, we experience a greater sense of motivation and purpose. Our values provide an intrinsic drive, resilient drive, making our goals feel more significant and rewarding. So, when we are out to achieve something with a whole heart, it makes the fruit more sweeter. Moreover, strong values can enhance our resilience in the face of challenges. When difficulties arise, our commitment to our values can provide the strength to persevere and overcome obstacles. It is the strength, the grit that we need to just continue and to achieve our goal, to do well, to do better, to continue living a good life. Guiding relationships. Shared values from the foundation of healthy and meaningful relationship. They are not superficial then they are deeper. When we connect with others who hold similar values, share the same ground, share the same platform, it fosters mutual respect. It's a give and take, understanding, and stronger bonds. We make relationships which last then. Articulating our values also helps in setting boundaries and establishing relationships that honor our self respect. So, how in English grammar it is good articulation which makes a sentence understandable. So, here articulation of values help us into living a better life, help us into understanding ourselves, help us into understanding the society and the environment, and then moving accordingly. In essence, or in conclusion, values are the bedrock upon which a purposeful life is built. A bedrock, like a riverbed, is important in a river's flow, so a bedrock. They provide the direction, the motivation, and the framework, however, we have to navigate ourselves, necessary to navigate life's complexities, difficulties that we have, while staying true to our deepest values, selves, and contributing meaningfully to the world around us. So, when we are truer to ourselves, it's only then we can make a significant contribution in where we are living, in what we are doing. Recognizing and living by our values is a continuous process of self discovery that leads to more fulfilling and purposeful existence. Like learning is a continuous process, we can never stop learning. In every phase of life, we learn and we continue to grow. So, the value system is also like that. Recognizing each value differently, each value according to your own experience, each value according to its time in life. So, that is how we grow. And that is what which brings about satisfaction and fulfillment and what we want out of our lives into our lives. Let's quickly see a quick exercise which invites you to explore happiness and human purpose as a central value in your life. Instead of just defining them, we'll delve into what they mean to us as a guiding principle, how we can use them. Okay, what does happiness truly mean to you? Does it mean anything? Is it important to you? Is it superficial, or is it encompassing everything to give you satisfaction in life? Next is it a state of joy, happiness? Is it contentment that your heart feels good? Is it peace that your body and mind are in tandem? Is it excitement? Are you very happy that you're doing something good, that you're leading a good life? So, what is it about? Think about it. What does human purpose say? What gives your life meaning and direction? What is it? Why are you striving? Why do you have an aspiration? What do you want to strive towards? What is your goal? What are you looking at? What is the larger picture that you are having in your life? What impact do you want to have on the world, however big or small? So, there are people who made for bigger things, there are people who made for smaller things, but those smaller things are very, very significant. So, let us not cut ourselves short, because all the values that we hold are important. All the things that we do, whether big or small, are important as well. So, no work is too small and no work can be insignificant. Everything that we do holds value. How we do obviously holds value. So with that, we finish the lesson, but just let's quickly see that what we talked about today, how happiness, how prosperity, how the value system fits into place. So when we talk about happiness and prosperity, living a balanced life with a good value system which is not only superficial but which is inbuilt in you like a system, which comes at randomness, is more effective. We cannot live an artificial life for long because the basic character does come into play sometime or the other. So it is always good to have a good basic character, a good basic value system which helps us into a better living. Thank you.